This is a Learning with Lattes production by Mainline Information Systems.
Welcome to everybody. Thank you for being here. My name is Marie Ashway. I am with marketing here at Mainline, and Christina Perez, also from Mainline in marketing. And we are here co-hosting this webinar today with our friends from Spectrum Protect and Cobalt Iron. So I'm going to launch a poll. Which backup recovery solution or solutions does your business use today? So most of you have Spectrum Protect, which is probably why you're here today, but also a lot of you with Avamar / Data Domain, some Cohesity, some Cobalt, and some others. So thank you very much for doing that. I appreciate that. All right, so at this point in time, it is my pleasure to introduce your speakers for today. We have Richard Spurlock, who is the CEO from Cobalt Iron, and with him we have Chris Dedham, who is with Mainline, and Chris is a data protection / backup recovery / specialist here at Mainline. So let me turn this over at this point to Richard. So Richard, it's all yours.
All right. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. Chris, let's dig into this. My name is Richard Spurlock, as Marie introduced, and I'm the CEO and founder of Cobalt Iron. Chris is with me today, solution architect and Allah expert around data protection. Chris's experience of more than 15 years across the multi-vendor, multi-product experience at Mainline and solving customers' challenges really positions this as a really good discussion. I appreciate the opportunity to share this with you, Chris.
Thanks, Richard, and welcome to all of you that are listening live or on the recording. Thanks for joining.
You betcha. Chris, like many of our audience members, we've both been working with TSM, Spectrum Protect, ADSM, and so on for a long time. Can you share a quick flyover of your diverse experience in storage and backup?
Absolutely. And I do have a diverse background with the variety of the backup technologies, most of which I saw in the survey, and it was interesting to see the variety of technologies that some of the attendees are using. And I want to point out that the innovations we're talking about today apply to backup in general. So while this is titled Spectrum Protect, it's really about the innovations that we're talking about. And since I've been in this business in data protection for over 15 years, I've seen the value grow of data, and consequently, the need for innovation to protect that data has become increasingly more critical. I mean, IBM continues to invest in Spectrum Protect to address this changing and demanding market. These demands on enterprise backup market require highly skilled technical admins who can deploy and manage data management. They must do more with less, and it's particularly true now with the pandemic planning that we're seeing.
Yeah, I completely agree, Chris. I appreciate the experience and perspectives chiseled out of that background. And from my perspective, the complexities of what's going on today and that drive and that thirst from the enterprise space really position these topics that we're going to touch on today as critical elements to delivering data protection. My background is in architecting and delivering enterprise data protection and storage solutions with a focused passion for solving customer problems in software. I started Cobalt Iron to transform the complexities of the largest application in the enterprise, backup, with simplicity and automation. Between both you and I, we've got a tremendous amount of TSM and Spectrum Protect history. It's pretty fun to be sharing the stage with you, sir. Part of the purpose of this discussion is to take an objective look at this fantastic Spectrum Protect technology and consider how it will be effectively leveraged in new and changing business world. So, Chris, let's start off with who is Mainline?
Well, many of you are already familiar with Mainline, and we thank you for your continued partnership over the years. For those of you who are not familiar with us, Mainline is a national IT solutions provider with 400 plus sales and technical resources. For 30 years, we've been delivering innovative solutions to solve customer challenges. The selection process for onboarding technology partners is deeply rooted in ensuring that the underlying technology can provide a differentiated experience by solving requirements that are technically elegant and cost-effective.
Beautiful, Chris. All right, so let's give the audience an introduction as to who's Cobalt Iron. Cobalt Iron is the global leader in SaaS-based enterprise data protection. The company was founded in 2013 to bring about fundamental change in the world's approach to data protection and data management. We do this by transforming the daily complexity that customers face with a comprehensive automation driven by analytics. Today, Cobalt Iron delivers enterprise data protection to customers in over 40 countries and processes more than 8 million backups and recovery events each month. So let's get into the content. Today, Chris, we're going to cover 4 main areas: the power of the Spectrum Protect technology, the complexity of legacy backup, elements to modernize data protection investments, and how Compass delivers intelligent data protection today. In our chat, let's look at some of the key enabling capabilities for modernizing and simplifying backup. First of all, let's talk about why Spectrum Protect has been such a dominant backup product in the industry for so many years. Chris, would you share some of your views on the benefits of Spectrum Protect?
Absolutely. So IBM Spectrum Protect's been around a long time, and it is a leader in the data protection backup market. The enterprise scale and the variety of features has made it popular with business partners around the world. Moreover, customers depend on it. It has a very diverse feature set, which means it can provide extensive coverage of a customer's environment.
Completely agree. We see the same thing. I also think Spectrum Protect customers continue to directly benefit from 2 key elements of the architecture. First is the data management approach to backup and archive. It's about the data and the policies rather than the backup job and that all other products seem to deliver to customers. And the second element is with that data management approach, the benefits of a true incremental forever architecture is experienced. So why are these important? Most of the legacy backup products continue to focus on the job rather than and require a full or synthetic backup that drives higher costs in the infrastructure per terabyte of protected data. This increase in costs occur across compute, network, and storage investments just to get data protected each day. I don't think that the architectural advantage of Spectrum Protect can be overstated. The efficiencies and flexibilities of managing the data rather than the jobs is where the rest of the market is trying to move forward to. So let me pause for just a moment and ask for your input. I'll ask Marie to pop a poll.
And the poll is popped. So if you could take a peek at this one and let us know what is the most important element of enterprise backup to your organization. So pick one. Which one's most important to you? And for those of you that might be dialed in on a phone and not looking at a screen, the answers were either enterprise features, reliability, simplicity, or security. And I know that some of these you might be like, yeah, I like this and I like that, and I want all 4 of those things, right? Just looking for the most important. Okay, we've got half the people have weighed in, so let's close that down. And let me share that out so everybody could see. So there you have it. So what do you think, Richard?
I like it. The reliability is core to what we believe customers require. The simplicity and security are just neck and neck with each other. And the enterprise features is what everyone's come to expect. So that's perfect. Greatly appreciate the responses and input, everybody. Despite the technology advances across the classic vendors and the startup community investments, enterprise backup today, Chris, seems to remain a challenging application for the business, both in terms of costs and operational complexities. So, Chris, what are some of the challenges your customers are facing each day in delivering backup to the enterprise?
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, most of the backup products are feature rich. Certainly the ones that popped on the survey at the beginning are very feature rich backup technologies. And our customers often find it challenging to properly deploy and manage enterprise backups. These challenges stem from the complexity, the lack of skills to deploy, manage, and maintain enterprise data protection. I mean, it's time consuming. It requires dedicated resources to maintain the day-to-day operations. Then add to that complex licensing and maintenance schemes. And pretty soon, customers soon discover their burden with personnel, infrastructure, and financial resources are greater than what they originally planned for.
Yeah, Chris, my teams are seeing the same challenges across customers. It's really hard to, let's say it differently. It's very difficult work to deploy and manage enterprise backup. And as mentioned, many of those skills are disappearing from the customer environments. I see companies and partners wondering how they can simplify and transform legacy backup while leveraging what they've invested in for tooling and infrastructure. If the same investment could be experienced securely with a greater return and deliver increased value to the business, customers want to explore that option. Let's talk for a few minutes about the coming transformation in enterprise backup. There are some critical capabilities that can help customers simplify and modernize data protection. Let's chat on how customers might leverage their existing investments in Spectrum Protect and make that transformation journey with simplicity. And this one's near and dear to our hearts, especially for how ESG has responded to the activities we've been doing in the market. Let's look at the ESG backup transformation model here. This model defines the 4 stages of data protection maturity and illustrates the journey we see customers taking. Its message and vision have tremendous value for the Spectrum Protect customers. If you are interested in learning more about Christophe Bertrand's model, check the chat link for his blog, and which includes an overview of the model. To quickly summarize the ESG model, Christophe defines 4 stages of data protection maturity, as well as data management chasm between the first 2 stages and the more advanced stage. The stages include the baseline. This is characterized by the critical need for protection of on-premises traditional workloads. Second is the cloud-enabled stage. Backup products and operations start leveraging public and private cloud technologies for various use cases. Most enterprises and backup products are in one or both of these first 2 stages in the ESG model. Modernizing and moving forward, we then have the 3rd stage, data intelligence stage. A key aspect of this stage is the delivery of backup evolves to an as-a-service model with insights on the data. In this stage, both backup infrastructure and operations become more automated. In addition, data analysis and security emerge as key business values. And we see that as a target point for each customer that we're working with today. Then the critical 4th stage is autonomous. This stage minimizes human intervention. It is characterized by automation and machine learning. At this stage, automation driven by analytics and machine learning constantly manage and operate the environment and optimize the environment. The business just experiences the value of data protection. Stages 3 and 4 is where customers begin to see easier operations and a much greater return on their investments in data protection. So if we use that as a framework, Chris, this journey to data protection maturity, as well as this quest to get more value from legacy backup investments, there are a number of critical capabilities that can help modernize your data protection. So let's tour through some of these critical capabilities that can help customers transform. This is not a complete list, but our short list of key functions that are part of the transforming legacy backup into modernized data protection. One of the first critical transformations a customer can make is around intelligent automation. Chris, in our discussions, you've been adamant about leveraging automation coupled with analytics to improve the enterprise backup experience. Talk to us about that and how automation driven by analytics can be a step in that direction.
Absolutely. I mean, all these products, particularly the ones that were listed in the survey, Cobalt, Avamar Data Domain, Cohesity, they all have automation capabilities. But what we're talking about to get to cross that chasm in the stages 3 and 4 is to have intelligent automation. It should be the focus area of innovation when developing a solution design, especially as it relates to the world of backup. I see the management of infrastructure and operations as two important areas where intelligent automation provides the greatest efficiencies. And it fixes a lot of neglect, quite frankly, that stems from admin resources being too busy with the daily grind of backup to pay attention to proper maintenance protocols. Backup infrastructure requires a continuous stream of upgrades, patches, and fixes that must be applied and coordinated across all parts of the backup landscape to ensure that everything's at the correct code level and operating smoothly and securely. When operations can have a single pane of glass that displays the backup environment health, monitors the backup infrastructure, does capacity and performance metrics, and overall system health, then they'll have a greatly simplified backup management experience. Let's face it, what we really want is intelligent automation for backup. But Richard, this type of automation is simply not scripts and schedules. It really depends on analytics.
Completely agree. You are spot on. That is why the second key capability that can modernize backup environments is analytics. Based on industry marketing, you may ask, doesn't everyone do analytics? The reality is, despite a lot of hype, very true analytics are being done in the enterprise backup world. However, there are few places in the IT world where analytics are needed more than in the backup estate. It's just too complex. Chris, it's just too brutal. Areas where analytics can deliver value to the backup world include processing infrastructure and backup operational data. And this is over time, analyzing for trends and indicators of constraints and problems, delivering performance and capacity management insights, driving nonstop cybersecurity detection and response, and predictive problem avoidance for consistent results. The brutality of backup is never ending. Enterprises are awash in the increasing volumes of data constantly consuming significant portions of the enterprise IT budget. We have to optimize this. We have to transform this. Analytics is an emerging area of focus, and I believe we'll see continual improvements across the backup market. Let's take a look at the next area of modernized capability, which is near and dear to everyone's heart. Chris, share with us your views around the need and value of cybersecurity.
Absolutely, Richard. Cybersecurity has become a forefront on data protection conversations, particularly with ransomware and malware. It's one of the concerns I constantly hear from customers, and that is to have an air-gapped solution. A lot of customers have moved away from tape, but many of the backup solutions can't afford that level of air gap without it. The immutability of backup is critical in today's world of cyber attacks. Spectrum Protect is one of the best backup products in terms of security and features like encryption, authentication methods, and extensive data integrity controls. But the fact that the backup product can be accessed at all by users represents a risk. With individuals managing different parts of the infrastructure, as we mentioned earlier, the data itself is at risk because of the number of access points. In today's nefarious world, we need stringent security controls. And to enable that, we need to provide the capabilities for security controls in the backup application, provide isolation and self-service. This drives the essence of the next piece, which is the lack of true multi-tenancy in most solutions, Richard.
Chris, I completely agree on that. And if we touch a little more on the security, it's the modern foundation of the enterprise backup. Backup is no longer about restoring a system. Its mission is to be the last line of defense in a wider range of attack planes and vectors on enterprise data. We've chatted often about the need for security in solutions that customers adopt, and I share your passion for doing it right. To extend this, the next modernizing capability is multi-tenancy. Multi-tenancy is increasingly marketed as being available in some backup products, but it is, in general, painfully limited. So why is multi-tenancy a key capability for modernizing data protection? Chris just mentioned one of the key reasons, being able to properly enforce and isolate diverse security controls and contexts. Multi-tenancy is also critical in representing a single unified experience across complex organizations, departments, teams, application owners, and yet providing safe, secure self-service capabilities. Multi-tenancy becomes even more valuable for partners and service providers who deliver services to a diverse ecosystem of customers. It is extremely powerful to be able to deliver chargeback, showback, reporting, visibility, management controls based on roles, organizations, and even locations, not just across customers, but across different organizations, divisions, and departments within a single entity, an enterprise. This is an area that will continue to mature in the backup market, especially with the movement into the next critical element. Chris, let's go back to you and the delivery of IT and technology operations as an as-a-service model.
Absolutely. So we see many of the things we've talked about why a software as a service model is so important. We need to reduce the management of the infrastructure with the added benefit of helping to secure the environment. We want to scale as we grow, right, be compliant from a licensing perspective, and help us reduce our costs for acquisition and use. I've said this before and I'll say it again. We want things to be easy to deploy and easy to use. SaaS provides a model in which we can use it as a service without the traditional burdens associated with infrastructure solutions. Richard, can SaaS deliver on the ever-changing enterprise backup requirements and complexity?
Chris, you nail it with that question. Backup for the enterprise is hard, the scale is daunting, and workload volumes continue to grow every day. So SaaS usually is something that sounds like a small, software, straightforward, not very capable or scalable solution. The complete foundation is needed for the constant delivery of security, new features, and operational stability and consistency. Backup touches everything in the enterprise, Chris. Every change, every upgrade, every install, they all impact the backup landscape. So customers today build an erector set of backup products and technologies. They operate the environment with just enough investments to keep it sufficient. Adding an as-a-service module to existing backup products misses the customer's requirements. A complete SaaS solution transforms the complexities and availabilities into an always-on, always current, quick to deploy, always ready solution. For the largest, most complex application in the enterprise, the erector set and forget is a failure path. It's time to change that with a SaaS experience. So if we then take a look at the next critical or last critical capability on our short list for modernizing is multi-cloud support. This category is actually broader than cloud and just backup. It's really around flexibility in the delivery of data when and where you want it for multiple use cases. Those use cases can include storing data, protecting data, accessing data, reusing data for multiple purposes, and recovering data. Multi-cloud is the term we're using for the variety of use cases across on-premises, data center, remote offices, private clouds, and multi-cloud environments. In general, most backup vendors are doing a good job of extending their backup products to leverage cloud resources for various use cases. However, often it is only a limited number of cloud providers and cloud resources that are covered. Cloud solutions need to be hybrid, seamlessly handling on-premises as well as cloud workloads, and they need to be multi-cloud, able to leverage various cloud public and private resources based on what's best for the business, not optimal for the cloud provider. Today, there's a significant amount of industry work building new tools in this space, but the experience of deploying and delivering these tools creates additional complexity and islands of management for the enterprise. This falls short of the simplicity, security, and consistency that enterprises crave today. So before we continue, we'll have one more poll. Marie, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Richard. And there it is. So this question, which advanced data protection capability holds the most value for your organization? And again, several of these might be right up your alley, but we just want to know which one holds the most value for your organization. Automation and analytics, cybersecurity, as a service, multi-tenancy, or multi-cloud. Oh, a lot of people weighing in on this one. And a lot of people very heavy on the automation and analytics answer.
Beautiful.
Yeah, let me, all right. Anybody else before I close this? Let's see, a couple more. Great, thank you. Let me close it and share it out. There you go. So Richard, there are your answers.
Okay, fantastic. Automation and analytics, then followed by cybersecurity, and then multi-cloud. Fantastic. Okay, let's dig into the last elements of the, if you will, summarization of these. So when we talk about the elements, the coming transformation, the complexities of enterprise backup, and some of these critical capabilities that can help you modernize. In our remaining time, let's discuss how you might leverage your existing investments in Spectrum Protect to make that transformation journey successful. Cobalt Iron Compass software delivers today on all the key modernizing capabilities we just discussed. Automation, analytics end-to-end, inside out, cybersecurity foundation, multi-tenancy, a SaaS delivery model, and multi-cloud support. The Compass SaaS platform automatically delivers all of the capabilities of the Spectrum Protect technology, built in, plugged into Spectrum Protect technology with these modernizing enhancements. The Compass platform, with the Compass platform, companies can cleanly transform and modernize their data protection while leveraging their existing investments in Spectrum Protect. Compass provides a simple transition to intelligent data management for Spectrum Protect users. Chris, if we go back to the ESG model for transformation, most Spectrum Protect customers are doing a very good job in stage 1 and working in stage 2 around leveraging cloud. Compass adds all the modernizing capabilities we've discussed, as shown, applying to the 4 stages of the transformation model. For stage 2, Compass adds multi-cloud use cases and maturity to Spectrum Protect portfolio. For stage 3 maturity, Compass delivers automation, as a service delivery, cyber shield security, and orchestration integrations today to become a first-class citizen in the IT service portfolio. And then for stage 4 elegance, Compass already puts the backup on autopilot in the infrastructure and also optimizes that infrastructure and operations driven by analytics. Extensions and enhancements in this area for customer is Cobalt Iron's passion. Chris, you've been working with Cobalt Iron for a few years now, and Mainline is partnering with Cobalt Iron to solve customer problems in this space. Could you share your views on what Cobalt Iron brings to the enterprise backup and Spectrum Protect users?
Well, Richard, Mainline partnered with Cobalt Iron because it enhances and extends the capabilities of Spectrum Protect through all 4 stages of the backup maturity model from ESG. The Compass Cobalt Iron is the easy button, basically, for modernizing and automating and optimizing the backup environment. And best of all, Compass, with Spectrum Protect customers, that can access the benefits of all these key technologies while leveraging their existing software licenses.
Fantastic, Chris. Really appreciate it. What we've been experiencing together with customers has been a great adventure, transforming customers from the erector set cost and complexity of the Compass experience and economics are transformative for customers. To the audience, Chris and I would like to thank you for your participation today, and I believe we are now going to go to Q&A. Marie?
Yes, we are. Thank you. And let me pop back up again here so I can see everybody virtually. Okay, so it's Q&A time. So please use your chat window to send in your questions. And also just a quick reminder, there are some handouts in the little handout section here. So feel free to download those before the webinar is over. And our first question this morning is from Alan, and Alan is asking, is Cobalt Iron an add-on to Spectrum Protect? Do I need to license both products?
Yes, Cobalt Iron Compass is a software license added to the Spectrum Protect licensing model that you have, independent of the license. So if you are PVU or backend or front-end capacity licensed, we work with all those licensing models.
Great, thank you, Richard, and thank you, Alan, for that question. Another question here from Bob, and Bob is asking, what are you automating with Compass, and how does that work?
Great question. So Compass automates the operational infrastructure elements. So the behaviors of TSM administration, operations, and a number of the engineering elements. Basically, what we have done is we have addressed the daily grind around delivering data protection with Spectrum Protect with an automation engine that analyzes the behavior of the environment top to bottom and constantly tunes and delivers it. Additionally, it also delivers the software updates and upgrades that plague and challenge a lot of enterprises around the Spectrum Protect environment due to the complexities of the capabilities of Spectrum Protect. Chris, anything you would add to that?
Well, I would say that what ends up being the responsibility for the customer is what we call the last mile, which is the management of the clients and the endpoints, which, as I stated earlier, often have a lot of neglect because so much time and energy has to be put into managing the server infrastructure.
Yeah, great way to describe that.
Okay, super, thank you. Another question here, and this one comes to us from Steve, and Steve is asking, you mentioned cyber attacks. How does your software protect the data from cyber attacks?
Chris, you want to hit that one first?
Certainly. First and foremost, all of the attack vectors are eliminated because you cannot log into the system. Humans cannot enter at any point with any part of the compute or the storage infrastructure. So there in itself eliminates a lot of the threats. Anything to add, Richard?
Yeah, absolutely. So to that end, also, the Compass software provides the ability to control who and what can actually delete or modify data. So the attack vectors around changing data are removed from the environment due to access, not a bad actor relative to open passwords or credentials, but a consistent plane of control around the data so that modifications cannot occur. And the only way data leaves the environment is through the normal policy management and the power of Spectrum Protect.
Yeah, and that's an important point because when we talked about security earlier, and I mentioned air gap, another critical component of cyber resiliency is immutability, and that is delivered by default through Compass.
Yeah. And, Chris, just to also reference back to the prior question around the Spectrum Protect licensing, one of the things that we do with Compass is also transform customers that are on tape or data domain to fully migrate and transform that data into a compressed and deduplicated form to reduce the costs for your VTLs, potentially, in a number of cases, even displace the VTL cost and reduce the costs that are associated with Spectrum Protect. What that provides is a more optimized environment, leveraging all the capabilities and licensing features of Spectrum Protect, putting those at customers' fingertips, reducing your infrastructure and your software licensing costs to make the environment more effective, not just in terms of operational efficiency, but cost efficiency.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it's a great point, Richard, because I've seen customers not being able to leverage all the features of something like Spectrum Protect because of cost, and if you can reduce that, that gives them more capabilities. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thanks, guys. And another question here from Gabriel. Gabriel is asking, when performing a DR test, can replication and restore happen simultaneously?
Yes. Oh, I love that question. So yes, the Compass solution provides an architecture where what we call accelerators, the TSM Spectrum Protect instance systems, are connected to storage. The ability to be able to deliver the recovery into a DR facility, we have two macro approaches to that, where we're able to snapshot the environment and operate that, or continuously have that ingest of DR data. But then, and Chris, we were talking to a customer recently where the isolation of the DR tests from the production and replication environment is a critical design point so that they can continue to do DR and DR tests while we're still driving the production environment. So we'd love to chat with you in detail on how we do that and architect that for a customer. Fun times.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
It's a great question.
Yep, thank you for that question. And Renee has a question, and Renee said, can I give an app team access to just see their backup stats?
Yes. So the Compass Multi-Tenancy allows us to say, let's just start from a visibility perspective. The commander interface is that global view of environment, whether you have 1, 3, or 300 Spectrum Protect servers. We can configure this such that customers can say, hey, I want Chris to log in and only see the Oracle systems and literally see them, how much data, their backup status, recent job history, etc. But when Marie logs in, she gets to see the whole universe. But then when Richard logs in, he only gets to see the systems and the applications in Brazil. But I also get to make schedule changes and enroll new systems and so on. The role-based access control allows people to self-service, whether it's a dashboard status, deeper inspection of the state and operations, or complete command and control over the whole universe or just their slice of the universe. That's what the Compass Commander interface and the SaaS solution provides.
Super, thank you very much, Richard, and thank you, Renee, for your question. Okay, anything else out there? The window's quiet at the moment. Any last questions for Richard or Chris? All right, it is quiet. So Richard, Chris, I'm going to turn it back to you guys.
Okay, thank you. Well, with that, Chris, let's wrap it up for today. I guess I'll thank everyone who joined the webinar. I'll invite you to check out the attachments in the handouts for additional resources. Visit cobaltiron.com to learn more about Compass and mainline.com to learn more about the diverse portfolio of offerings from Mainline. This recording of the webinar is going to be available in the next 24 hours for replay. So looking forward to talking with additional people about Compass and solving problems around Spectrum Protect environments. Thank you and have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Be safe.
For more information, give us a call, follow us on social, or visit us online at mainline.com.